This video is sponsored by Videogame Piracy Watch, a grassroots coalition dedicated to preventing video game piracy and plagiarism.
Success is contagious, or at least people wish it was contagious. When something gets big, you know there will be 101 copycats within the following months. We've already talked about ripoffs of superhero movies and Mario games and stuff like that. But today, we'll be taking a step back to look at some of the most popular current games and their respective ripoffs. These are 5 incredibly shameless ripoffs of popular video games.
Why play Fortnite when you can play Fortcraft? Ask almost anyone what they're playing right now, and there's a 95% chance they'll say Fortnite. Seriously, the Battle Royale trend in video games is crazy right now, and at the front of the pack is Fortnite, thanks to its free-to-play nature. For those uninitiated, Battle Royale games drop a large number of players, usually 100, onto an island where they all fight for survival in order to be the last one standing. The map slowly shrinks, forcing the players to get closer and closer to each other, until it's a completely secluded bloodbath. Currently, this genre is full of copycats. Technically, Fortnite copied PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which started the trend. Copied being in quotations here because PUBG wasn't even the first in the genre. So what counts as an actual copycat? Well, look no further than Fortcraft for the mobile market. What really sets Fortnite apart from PUBG is its more cartoonish art style and its building mechanic, where you gather materials in order to create walls and forts to protect yourself against other players. What sets Fortcraft apart from Fortnite is absolutely nothing. It uses the exact same art style, same building mechanics, apparently even the same assets, which were likely stolen from Epic Games, the developers of Fortnite. The map is slightly different, and you drop out of a flying taxi instead of a bus, but it's clear what they are doing here. When you look into the garbage that permeates the app stores, you'll find a lot of cheap knockoff games that use the same buzzwords in order to maximize the amount of searches they appear in. These words range from crash to clan to battle to, yes, craft. Stick the word craft behind anything and you'll be ranking in all of those accidental Minecraft searches. Fortcraft was only relevant because it was a mobile version for people who couldn't play it on PC. But now that Fortnite has released their own official mobile version, Fortcraft has no reason to exist. Its purpose is meaningless and will fade into obscurity where it belongs.
Why play Breath of the Wild when you can play Storm Island Action? The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild broke records for the series, creating a gorgeous world full of realistic and creative physics, hundreds of ways to solve puzzles, beautiful set pieces, and possibly some of the best climbing mechanics in recent gaming history. All of this means that it's finally ripe for a cheap ripoff that loses almost everything that makes the original memorable. Storm Island Action is that game for the Chinese market. While there isn't much information or footage of the game itself, the company that created it, NetEase, is known for creating ripoffs of popular games for Chinese consumers, much like Tencent, who created the infamous Mario Galaxy ripoff, you know, that one that features dinosaurs. Surprisingly, NetEase actually has some deals with big-name Western studios, such as Blizzard and Mojang, giving them full rights to publish games like Overwatch, Hearthstone, and Minecraft in China. However, when they don't get the rights to the franchises, they simply create their own versions, as seen here with Storm Island Action. From the brief footage available, we can see that it heavily borrows from the cel-shaded visuals from Breath of the Wild. Horseback riding looks nearly identical to how it's being implemented in Breath of the Wild, albeit a bit jankier. And the protagonist even looks a bit like Link, sporting his blue champion's tunic from the game. However, the major thing that is setting Storm Island Action apart from Breath of the Wild is the inclusion of some high-tech skateboard. It's a strange inclusion to be sure, but at least it's original. Now that Nintendo is beginning to publish some of their older games in China through the Nvidia Shield, such as Twilight Princess and New Super Mario Bros., we gamers are finally able to enjoy these official Nintendo releases of iconic games, eliminating the need for low-quality ripoffs. While Switch games haven't officially been released in the region yet, it's a safe bet to assume that Breath of the Wild will show up someday, letting everyone experience the true, definitive version of Storm Island Action or some shit.
Why play Overwatch when you can play League or Legend of Titans? Despite the fact that Overwatch is actually available to play legally in China, thanks to NetEase securing the license to publish the game, a ripoff has still managed to sneak its way through the cracks. It's not entirely surprising that someone would want to get in on the success of arguably the most popular current first-person shooter. But what's more interesting here is how the developers seem to back down after mass criticism of the blatant copying. Titled League of Titans, or is it Legend of Titans, the developers refer to it as League, whereas the trailers refer to it as Legend. Either way, they've nailed down the buzzwords we've discussed previously, as they have both of the major words from League of Legends. Take one look at the trailer, and notice some very familiar faces. Yep, we got Tracer, color swapped with blue hair, and Widowmaker, who they didn't even bother changing. There's also Reinhardt, Pharah, Reaper, all with minor changes. Gameplay is identical, art style is identical, maps and UI are identical. It's fucking Overwatch. The major differences here are that it plays like shit, and the frame rate is unbearably bad, so it's got that going for it. After presumably some legal action from Activision and Blizzard, the dev team released an update claiming that the game is in fact not an Overwatch clone, but rather just a tech demo. In an interview, they stated, "When the real game comes out, you will see nothing relevant to Blizzard's design element. We show the video to prove our browser game design techniques and want to find someone cooperating with us on a similar game on webpage." Could it be true that they really intended it to be a tech demo and nothing more? Or are they just covering up their tracks? Well, given the history of plagiarism in Chinese video games, we're leaning more towards the latter. A ripoff this blatant wouldn't exactly be out of the ordinary. If they truly wanted to show off a tech demo, why bother changing any of the characters' colors and designs at all? Many people seem to have given them the benefit of the doubt though, and the game quickly faded into obscurity. Nothing has been heard from this game or developers since 2016, so perhaps their plans truly were foiled.
Why play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds when you can play Rules of Survival? As mentioned before, the Battle Royale genre has become one of the hottest in the gaming market, with behemoths like Fortnite and Paladin's Battlegrounds taking hold of the market. One might actually forget where the genre really took off with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Of course, developer Bluehole Studios does not want you to forget that, as they've made a habit out of filing lawsuits against anyone who makes a vaguely similar game, including Fortnite. While nothing has come from those lawsuits, mainly because PUBG does not own the Battle Royale genre, the developers did finally find a product that can be truly classified as a ripoff: Rules of Survival. Developed by NetEase, those people responsible for that Breath of the Wild ripoff, Storm Island action. Similarly, another Battle Royale game created by NetEase titled Knives Out is also a near identical copy to PUBG. So what actually constitutes these two games as ripoffs, whereas something like Fortnite isn't? Well, for starters, Fortnite added something new to the genre, being its cartoony style and building mechanics. NetEase games do not feature these aspects, and instead feature a near identical aesthetic to PUBG, that being a more gritty, warlike feel. The main argument by Bluehole Studios, though, is more based around the cosmetic meme material presented in the game. One of the most iconic weapons in PUBG is a frying pan, and has become quite popular in memes and references surrounding the game. Additionally, when winning a match in PUBG, you're rewarded with a text saying, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner," which is used in various ad campaigns for NetEase games. Additionally, many map and vehicle assets were nearly identical. One ad for Rules of Survival even features a two-seater buggy, which in itself isn't that bad. However, the buggy only currently exists in PUBG, but not Rules of Survival. Given how the lawsuit against Fortnite went absolutely nowhere, it's hard to say whether or not the same will occur here with NetEase. Claiming something copies another, especially within the Battle Royale genre, is getting more difficult to do. After a formal complaint was made with Apple, the company contacted NetEase about similarities, to which NetEase responded denying Rules of Survival and Knives Out infringe on the rights of Bluehole Studios and the PUBG Corporation. This case is still relatively new, with the latest update being in early April 2018, so we'll have to see how this one pans out.
Why play Super Mario Maker when you can play Box Maker? It's often the most obvious ripoffs that are the most entertaining ones. The ones that make you think, how can this actually exist? How could they even get away with this? If you're looking for a prime example, then look no further than Box Maker, a blatant ripoff of Super Mario Maker. If you weren't one of the 5 people that owned a Wii U, chances are you didn't get to play Super Mario Maker, which is a shame. It was a great way to celebrate the iconic plumber's 30th birthday, giving players the opportunity to create their own hellish and challenging levels. Or just auto-scrollers, because God knows there are thousands of those. Given that Nintendo is dead set against releasing their games on PC, the task fell onto a Chinese developer known as Silver Moon Internet, whose only other game on Steam is called VR Girlfriend. Box Maker doesn't star Mario, but rather a rabbit with a red hat, with a big fat R on there instead of an M. Every single thing about this game is copied from Mario Maker. It's like they didn't even try. The play and edit buttons, the layout, the grid, the materials, even placing blocks in the grid causes the Mario theme to play. It's like they're taunting Nintendo at this point. All the enemies are ripped from Mario 2, at least in terms of functionality. Even the noise that plays when a bullet bill is launched from a cannon is directly ripped from Mario Maker. When dying, you can see a plethora of red X's, indicating where other players died in the same level. A feature implemented first by, you guessed it, Mario Maker. Upon completing a level, you are greeted with the yellow banner sporting the exact same effect as Mario Maker, and strangely, a carbon copy of the Facebook like button. While this game was developed by Silver Moon Internet, there is no mention of the game anywhere on their website. Additionally, there is only one tweet of the game on their official Twitter, and their Facebook page is just a dead link. While this is as blatant as ripoffs come, there are a few features unique to Box Maker, such as being able to watch videos of other players completing levels, as well as being able to name your level fuck. Given Box Maker's lack of competition on Steam, and lack of actual any Mario characters, there's a good chance that it will live on without any problems, while other quality fan projects will be terminated, which frankly is a crime against nature.